I expected it this way because you and John Fort both said it on this show a few times when I was on, that vertical integrations are not something that would be stopped. And you turned out to be right. I think it makes sense. This is a huge tectonic shift we're seeing with multiple converging forces. At Perella Weinberg, where I work, we have what's called a disruption lab. And you see this in media and telecommunications with the fact that we're going to have more vertical integration, a lot of mergers of people who have content and distribution. That's why Comcast will be going in for the Fox assets. But you also see other things happening, including Comcast being out from under the behavioral remedies it had to agree to when it did its universal merger. Also, you have the end of net neutrality happening, and we're moving into a world in which big data and data about consumers matter. So you're going to have experts in that field, Amazon, Netflix, and others wanting to get into this game. So it's going to be a wild ride for the next couple of years when it comes to media, telecom, and content type convergences.
So, Roger, we've seen this move now. What's the counter move? If vertical is allowed, people are going to take a cue from this, perhaps without conditions. What do you expect to happen next in Silicon Valley or outside?
Well, John, I think the really big question is how long does it take before Google or Facebook or Apple buys Comcast or AT&T? Because if you're going to be allowed to do an infinite vertical integration, I agree with Walter's basic assessment of the industry issues. And so if in that scenario, you're going to want to go to the person who controls the audience as the value point. But I don't know that they're even thinking that way. I'm just saying that this clearly makes that a possibility where yesterday that was not something that we would have taken seriously at all.
Walter, in light of that and this idea of controlling the audience, with these sort of bigger traditional media players getting bigger and becoming more vertically integrated, the fact that so many more people are cord cutting or not even, these newer generations are not even going to traditional cable to begin with, how much of this is really just getting bigger and potentially seeing higher and higher prices as we get more and more M&A to protect a business that is fundamentally and structurally changing longer term?
Well, of course it's changing, and yes, there's going to be cord cutting, and yes, we're going to have 5G technology and other new technologies. A lot of the convergence I talked about will cause other people to find new ways to do distribution. That is the silver lining or upside on some of this vertical integration and the end of net neutrality, is that a company like Google, a company like Netflix, a lot of these companies are going to have to say, how do we find ways to also control and get to the customer directly? You'll also see CBS. I mean, this is incredibly interesting for one of the great players in this world, which is Les Moonves. He's got CBS in a bit of a delicate dance and struggle with Sherry Redstone and the Viacom thing. But CBS becomes valuable, who knows, to a Netflix. You look at Netflix, it's got a market cap that's now bigger or close to being bigger than Disney and others. So Netflix is going to get into this game. And so I think you're going to see people find new ways to do new technologies to get to the consumer, to own that consumer data, and to make sure they can get their content through.
Hey there, thanks for checking out CNBC on YouTube. Be sure to subscribe to stay up to date on all of the day's biggest stories. You can also click on any of the videos around me to watch the latest from CNBC. Thanks for watching.